I started over so many times. When I first got into fitness, I remember being so dedicated for the first few days. I would make it from Monday to Friday without a hiccup and just an absolute militant dedication to my diet. Then Saturday and Sunday would come around and I would be so depleted and so hungry that I would just totally blow it all and completely binge eat, and then wake up on Monday morning feeling like I totally regretted all my decisions and I made no progress. I was stuck like that for many years. But finally, after doing that for a long time, I just got sick of starting over. So I decided to actually commit, not to commit to some fad diet or some overcomplicated program that I found online, but to actually commit to the fundamentals, the basic principles that we all know about fitness, just to keep it really, really simple. Because ultimately, I knew for myself, the only way I was going to succeed is if I was doing something that was going to be sustainable and simple enough to follow for a long period of time. So in this video, I'm going to tell you the exact plan that I followed that allowed me to actually change my body and get into great shape. Now, I made a lot of mistakes along the way and I had to learn from these mistakes, but the whole point of this video is just to fast track you through it so that you don't have to make those same mistakes. You don't have to stay stuck, but by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what you need to do to actually get a great physique. All right, guys, and just so you know, this is what I used to look like. You can see that I had a pretty average physique. I had a good amount of body fat. I didn't have a ton of muscle mass. And I remember just when I would wake up in the morning feeling pretty insecure about how I looked. I didn't like taking my shirt off and I just didn't feel super confident in myself. But through a very few basic but important things, I was able to completely change my physique. I lost a lot of body fat, gained a lot of muscle, and just overall live a higher quality of life and feel a lot more comfortable in my own skin. And the whole point of my channel, guys, is that if I can do it, anyone can do it. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about today is going to be the diet. Now, when it comes to the diet, one thing that's important to note is that I believe subtraction is far greater than addition. It's not so much about what you start eating and what you add into your diet versus what you remove, because we all already kind of know the stuff that you should eat, you know, the very basic stuff that is good for you. But the issue is that most people just eat a lot of ultra processed junk food, which is really keeping them stuck with an unhealthy physique. So the basics that I eat a lot of is just like meat, fruits, and vegetables. But more importantly, I just refrain from the ultra processed junk food. That was the biggest single difference that I made that completely changed my diet. Was not necessarily adding a whole bunch of fancy, stuff. I didn't start like throwing kale chips and all the secret sauces into my diet. I just ate the very basic stuff that we know is good for you and then remove the ultra processed junk food. And what I would define as junk food is things that are ultra high in calories and then very low in nutrients. And I'm not even saying that you can't have junk food every once in a while, but I think that it just needs to be a reframe of what junk food is, because a lot of people, the junk food is just kind of the expectation. So we want it to be more infrequent. We want it to be more of a treat, quote unquote, rather than an expectation, rather than being like, hitting the drive-thru every night to pick up some cheeseburgers. That should be the treat that we do every once in a while. But the expectation, the standard should be a very high quality diet that is high in nutrients. And of course, moderation is the key to sustainability. I preach sustainability on my channel and all my videos a lot because I think that sustainability is ultimately what is going to change your physique. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's not something that we do at an extremely intense level for a short period of time, but it's something that we need to do well for a long, sustainable period of time. And just a general good rule for weight loss is stop around 80% full. If you are eating till you're completely full, it's likely that you are overeating. So I think around 80% full is a good marker to know that you're in a good spot without being in a super high calorie surplus. Next thing I want to talk about is weightlifting. So, we want to get those sweet biceps, sweet shoulders. The ladies, of course, love the ceps. Not really. It's mostly just dudes who will compliment you. But anyways, it's still important though, because once you're lean, you need to have a little bit of muscle to show off, because that's the difference between being jacked and being scrawny. Is scrawny person's lean, the jacked person's lean, but the difference is that the jacked person just has at least a little bit of muscle so that the average person, when they look at them, thinks, yeah, that guy works out. And that's pretty much the standard. When you get lean, you want to have enough muscle on you so that when the average person looks at you, they think, yeah, that guy definitely lifts, which honestly is not that hard to get there. Really, all you need to do is go to the gym about 3 times a week and just put some effort into your lifts. If you do that consistently, if you go to the gym 3 times a week while putting good effort into your lifts for like a full year, you'll pretty much be at that level where everyone will look at you and be like, yeah, that guy's pretty jacked. And if you're new to the gym, it's actually a very exciting time because you have what's called newbie gains, where you actually make the most amount of gains that you'll ever make within the first 6 months to 1 year. So that's a really exciting time. So take this as a call to action. If you're just starting out, that you'll be able to see a lot of progress very quickly within the first 6 months to 1 year. And basically the way the cycle goes is lift, eat, recover, and then when you recover is when you actually grow. It's not when you're lifting, it's not when you're eating, but it's when you're recovering that your muscles are actually being built back stronger. So that's why we really want to prioritize sleep and adequate recovery as well. And then lastly, guys, I just want to talk about expectations. So I think that a problem with the modern thinking around fitness is we have this quote unquote pill solution to everything where, we just want a magic pill, right? Like you have some issue with your body, you take a pill. You have some issue with your brain, you take a pill. It's like you just want to solve the problem by taking a magic pill. But the truth is fitness is not a magic pill. We need to reframe our mindset around fitness to think about it more as a lifestyle and not a quick fix. Because I remember for the longest time, I wanted all the benefits of fitness, but while keeping the same bad habits. And that's just not going to be how it works, right? Like you can't have the same bad habits, but want all the benefits and get all the benefits. You actually have to change the habits to get the benefits. And so ultimately, fitness is not about information. It's about transformation. It's about taking the information and applying it into your life, because nothing matters till the rubber meets the road. Yeah, I call it fat doctor syndrome, where like you have a doctor who knows everything that there's to know about modern medicine and health, but he's still fat, right? Like that's a good example of having all the information without making the transformation. It's the rubber not meeting the road. So nothing matters until you actually take action. And the way I say it is knowledge alone makes you a nerd, right? Like you can have all the information you want, but knowledge and application, applying that knowledge into your life, is what turns you into a beast. So the ultimate point of this video, guys, is take action. This video is not just an informational video. This is a call to action video. This is an actionable video to do the things that we all know we should be doing, but actually apply it into your life. Because fitness isn't complicated. It's very simple. You only get one life, so you just should do the stuff that you need to do, right? Like if you keep putting things off, you're going to regret it. There's going to be a point where you're going to look back, and especially if you're a younger guy, the best time to get fit is now, because it's much easier to be young, get fit, and then sustain that as you get older, rather than be unhealthy as you're young and then try to have to fix that when you're older. And if there's any guys who are in their 30s and 40s watching this, you probably can attest that that's true. So just do the stuff you should do, because you ultimately have two choices. There's suffering to build and there's suffering to destroy. You're either working to become something better or you're slowly deteriorating. So you have the choice to decide what you want to be as time goes forward. So, if there's one thing to take away from this video, is not that there's some magic pill or some magic hack to get into great shape, but it's just do the stuff that we all know you should be doing, because ultimately anyone can do it. I believe in you. And if you like videos like this, make sure you subscribe, because I make videos to help out the average guy just like you and me. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.